Hey there, Chad Nation. Welcome back to another delightful commentary video on this channel. As you can see behind me, there is a new set for this channel. It is green because that is the color of my skin. So before this entire pandemic happened, the last film I went to watch in theaters was Onward. And yes, that is the new Pixar film that came out, the one that has that Simpsons short, which is incredibly uncomfortable to watch. I personally thought the film was great. It was sexy, it was thick, it was beautiful. But like all films, the film had a glaring issue to me, and it bothered me when I was watching it, and hey, that's what I wanted to talk about today, and maybe it'll tickle your pickle or your peach too. Let's talk about the world. Yes, the world.
Our world. We know all about it, right? It's not very interesting, we live in it, duh. Yet this film was written to be set in our world.
Wait, Mauricio, or whatever your Hispanic sounding name is. Onward isn't set in our world. Onward's set in a world with unicorns and elves and shit. That's where I'll rebut, no, this film definitely is set in our world.
Onward is a film about fantasy characters living in our world, instead of fantasy characters living in a world only they could create. If you don't truly understand what I mean, let's talk about the world building in another Disney film, Zootopia. Zootopia is a masterful film. The message is great, obviously not perfect, but it is definitely a top-tier Disney film, and you can tell a lot of love and passion was put into not just its characters, but its world. That's not to say in any way that passion and love wasn't put into Onward. What I'm saying is, maybe that passion and love wasn't given proper direction. Zootopia's world is a world built by animals for animals. Everything makes absolute and total sense. There's big doors and places where, bigger animals would live. There's an entire town made exclusively for mice.
I even bought the art book because I love the film so much. See, there's different types of cars depending on what species you are. So if you're a giraffe, you're obviously going to drive a very tall car. And the film itself is designed to have multiple districts for different animals to live in. So of course, if you're a polar bear, you're not going to live in Savannah Central.
So now that we understand how diverse and complex the world of Zootopia is, a world that is specifically created to suit every type of animal, a world that is created to reflect the society that inhabits that world, what can we say about Onward? Onward is a film that has trolls, centaurs, elves, and other magical beings living as humans, essentially like us. And that's where the movie absolutely, positively, almost unacceptably fails, in my opinion, because the world is without a doubt just badly created. It's lazy. And not creating a world that serves all species creates a certain problem. A problem that completely destroys one of the themes of the movie. I know how lame that sounds, okay, but stick with me. The film's desire to stay visually similar to the real world, our world again, makes it horrible to live in. Why? Let's give two examples. One, the centaur. There's a centaur officer in the film, right? The dude is literally half horse, but wait, all the cars in the movie look like cars humans would ride. We would ride.
That's 5 points for that.
So what does that mean? Well, we'll let the movie show us.
You guys are...
The cars themselves aren't designed for certain species. If the world was designed by mystical fantasy creatures, why doesn't a car exist for species that look anything other than a normal person? Second example, the ferry bikers. The ferries are going to a gas station in the film. The gas station, again, in a world designed by fantasy creatures, doesn't accommodate these fantasy characters. And worse, motorcycles specifically designed for ferries don't even exist, which is insane. In the film's desire to imitate our world, they neglect the species of the world they are creating. So again, what is the setting of this movie? What were they trying to accomplish? Even the Manticore, or Cory, is in the shit in this movie, because despite her background and fame, she's reduced to a restaurant manager. Yes. Cory ends up going from crazy badass who sends travelers on epic quests to just a restaurant manager, to then a slightly more badass restaurant manager by the end of the film. It's really weird. So let me let you in on a little secret, which isn't a secret, I guess. One of the film's themes is accepting the past, or respecting the past, or something along those lines.
Centaurs could run 70 miles an hour?
I own a vehicle, don't need to run.
Sprites used to fly around, spreading delight. That's a good thing.
Sprites can't fly!
One of the main characters of the film, Barley, plays a D&D-like game in this film, and a lot of the characters and storylines are based on the culture and societal norms of the old world, and for some reason it feels like the film is preaching that we should go back to our antiquated ways. It's really confusing. So essentially, the film wants these characters, like the centaur, like the fairies, like the manticore, to go back to their ways of the past and gallop more, is that what it is? You know, he's the centaur, fly more, and, you know, essentially be more like themselves. But the thing is that the film preaches this idea while never confronting the main issue, which is that these fantasy characters should not have to rely on the ways of the past or conform to society. The world should accommodate the fantasy characters for the present. Even worse, the theme of respecting the past or whatever is very forced because no one watching this film genuinely cares about Corey, the bikers, or the centaur cop. The movie is about Ian and Barley, and to a lesser extent, the mom and dad. The main character's internal conflict is about what a family figure really means, how love can be both paternal and brotherly, and that's beautiful. I teared up like 3 times during this movie, but again, even though I really enjoy the movie and I think everyone should watch it at some point, the movie still has flaws, at least to me. The film should have scrapped the whole fantasy characters in the real world idea and just have this film set in a fantasy land, period. This could have been a more magical version of How to Train Your Dragon or something, I don't know. Heck, there's even tons of isekai anime you can take inspiration from. The film is inspired by D&D, but never actually does anything as interesting as the things you can do in D&D. So again, if the film is not going to take advantage of a world created by fantasy monsters and see what that look like and just take the easy route, which is just replicate the real world, then just set the damn movie in the past. Let me ask you a question. Would the movie change in any way if the film was set in the past? No. That's how unimportant the setting is in the film. You could just tweak a few things and it would work in the past the exact same way. And I feel like this is the biggest reason as to why people feel like this movie is, while good, rather forgettable. If set in a fantasy world, Ian can still go to school, but you know, he has to learn how to ride, instead of a car, maybe a unicorn or a type of winged creature maybe. The driver's license aspect can still remain if you want to add some of our world's societal systems. Maybe Ian needs a license to fly or ride. What's so crazy to me is that the beginning of the film shows so many incredible mystical creatures, and then the rest of the film shows just elves. It's just elves the entire time, and I guess one lion lady. That's really lame. Magic being used in the regular world, like the present, not the past with all the fantasy creatures, isn't really a type of taboo in any way, though it could have been, and that would actually help the whole we should respect the past message. So anyway, the movie could totally have been set in the past, without any story implications.
So honestly, I feel like the film had a lot of potential, especially in its world, but it was squandered. Either way though, the main message of the film is great. I thought the ending of the film was gold. I love the voice acting. It was great. You know, Tom Holland, he has that voice, you know, but it's you know, it's the same as always, but it fit well for the character. The film is a genuine visual feast as far as visual feasts can go, because again, everything kind of looks like our world, so there's only so much interest that can captivate, but they still did a good job for what they were told to do or design. The spells are brilliant, the animation's brilliant, and there's a lot of heartwarming sequences in the film. That being said, I can still understand why people would say this film is forgettable or disappointing. Hey, thanks so much for watching today's video. And of course, if you don't know what a Chad is a person that likes any type of food. If you like food, you're a Chad. If you don't like food, then what the fuck are you? So if you want to become a Chad, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel down below. We already got like nearly 200,000 Chads on us. Not on us physically, just in the channel. So definitely join if you want to. We are not a cult. And thank you so much for coming to the table, and I'll see you all next time.
There's nothing else to do. Let me kill a bit of time with you.